Howdy people. So day 2. I think last night I was ill, you know, and I was thinking it's because like I'm getting on a bit now, you know, and I just thought that I was a bit unfit, not used to this sort of work. But actually I think it was the sun. It caught me yesterday. So today I had to nick one of my boys' hats. But yeah, anyway, where we're at. So obviously we've stripped the whole front end. Yeah, and do you know, like, I cannot find one video on the M235 F44 model on how to change a radiator or anything. So hopefully this helps people in my similar situation. But yeah, so today's task, obviously I need to remove the radiator, which hopefully I'll be able to remove the fan housing and then the radiator. I did look at the workshop manuals and it's telling me I need to remove the aircon radiator, but I'm gonna try and do it without. Hopefully I can do that. If not, then I'll have to take the whole rad pack out and then take it from there. Okay, first things first, disconnect the battery again, and then I'll start removing the hose, the main radiator electronics, fan electronics should I say, and then we'll see if we can remove the fan from the radiator. So let's do that. So I managed to get the fan assembly out. Pain in the backside, but hopefully now I've got enough room to get this radiator out. Just got one wire connector and a pipe there to undo. The rest of it looks to be off. So yeah, all right, let's see how we get on. Little update. Managed to get to the radiator, the main radiator, but boy, it's long. It is not easy work. So instead of taking the bottom intercooler off, I've just undone the screw that holds the top radiator in. It slides into this bottom bracket. So I've undone that side, I've undone the other side. Same on this side. Yeah. And then disconnected the 2 radiators in the front. So now I'm about to attempt that pipe at the back. That has been proving so difficult, but I've got to get it out. I will update you soon. Absolute sitting here. This pipe was an absolute nightmare. Hours of fighting it in the hottest weather of the year, pulling, twisting, swearing, trying everything. At one point I genuinely thought it wasn't coming off. Picked the wrong day, definitely. It is roasting out there. I actually felt like I was gonna faint, and I still haven't got that pipe off yet. Ugh. I had to call in reinforcements, and that wasn't people or help. It was literally a cold fizzy drink in the shade. It was well needed. I'm absolutely exhausted. But the saga still goes on. I ain't given up. although I felt like it sometimes. But yeah, no. I'll crack on and show you lot what's going on after. Every time I thought I was making progress, it would move a millimetre and then lock itself back in place. The sweat was pouring, my patience was running thin, and I'd already thrown everything I had at it. But sometimes it's not about having the right trick, it's about refusing to give up. One more pull, one more attempt, one more try, and after enough persistence, it was done. We removed the radiator, and oh my god, what a relief that was. And as you can see, that's where the leak was. This was the pipe here. Absolutely crazy how that was just stuck on there. Mind you, there ain't much space around there, you know, so I managed to get it off without the bottom intercooler, I think that's called. What a mission, guys. So now I'm going to check this is the same, and from the look of it, it's looking good. Looking good. Actually says that part's from Poland. Ah, it's from Poland as well. 1711, and then the part number 8645801. It's exactly the same. So an absolute touch on that. Saved a couple of £100. Although I had sunstroke yesterday, and I'll probably get the same today. And my back is aching, and let's stop complaining, eh? And get on with it. Way. Before fitting the new radiator, I wanted to make sure everything matched up correctly. A quick comparison confirmed the old and the new radiators had the same part numbers, so I knew I'd ordered the right part. What surprised me most was the price difference. I couldn't believe BMW wanted over £525 for the radiator, but by ordering a genuine BMW part from Germany, I managed to save a considerable amount of money. It just goes to show how much some parts, and to be honest, plenty of everyday things in the UK can be massively overpriced compared to what they should be. Anyway, with that little victory out of the way and all the parts finally here, it was time to start putting things back together. At this stage, there was no rushing. One wrong move could damage the new radiator and one of the surrounding components, so I took my time carefully and guided everything into position to make sure nothing got caught, bent or damaged in the process. Put a little retaining clip back on the pipe. Imagine that, it was a lot easier putting it on than this clip back on. Didn't actually mean to take it all the way out. It is what it is. So right now I'm making sure all the hoses are connected correctly before moving on to the next component, the charge air cooler. Yep, that's right, the charge air cooler, not the intercooler. I only wish I'd known what it was actually called while I was filming, because throughout the video I was calling it something it wasn't. So I do apologise for any confusion there. Well, I've got to say, putting stuff back together is more enjoyable. I think we get this fan back in now. So one clip up here, one clip over here. And then we had the two bolts that go on the top. Radiator now in place, it's time to refit the cooling fan assembly. This is one of those jobs where you cannot afford to rush. The last thing I wanted to do after all this work is damage a brand new radiator or catch one of the surrounding components while manoeuvring the fan back into position. As I'm lowering it in, I'm making sure the guides on the fan cowl line up correctly with the charge air cooler. If those guides are not seated properly, nothing else is going to sit where it's supposed to. It's a bit of a balancing act, taking your time, checking clearances and making sure everything slides back into place exactly how BMW intended. After spending hours fighting to get everything apart, it was finally starting to look like a car again. So as you can see, I'm putting the screw to tie the radiator to the air intercooler. That's what I'm doing now. You're not really going to see much, but and it's a messed up angle because obviously I didn't take the intercooler out, which would have been a lot easier, but is what it is. Let's get these screws back in. Okay, so I fitted the rad. I've got the pipe behind there, I'm not sure if you can see it, with an electrical connector. So that's one. Main electrical connector for the fan. Got another water pipe over here. There is one down here as well. This top one. Now, ideally, I wanted to change both these pipes because, as I told you before, when I took it to a mechanic last year, they bodged this piece together. Yeah, obviously I've got to connect this pipe onto here as well. But they bodged this together, as you can see, because there was a little pinprick in the hole in the hose. So they've cut it, added a join, and then connected it with Jubilees. How you doing? So I've had about an hour and a half rest. Sun's gone in a bit, which is good, because I was dying. I absolutely got cooked. So the next step is, before I do anything else, I want to pressure test the system, make sure that we're good before filling it with coolant. So I think let's get that done and see if we're leaking or not. So I ended up buying a kit, a 34-piece kit, which allows me to obviously pressure test and vacuum bleed the system as well. So just so you can see what sort of kit it is. Right, so I've got it at 1 bar now. But it seems to be holding. I'm going to wait about 5-10 minutes. Although I think it's only 2 minutes I have to wait, but let me wait and then I'll get back to you. Been sitting there for about 10 minutes, hasn't moved. I mean, by no means does that mean there isn't a leak. Yeah, because I've seen it online. They've done all this, filled it up, and it still leaks. So, but at the moment that's good enough for me. So I think next step, vacuum fill the coolant. So after pressure testing the cooling system and confirming there was no obvious leaks, I removed the pressure tester and refitted the expansion tank cap. At this point, things were finally starting to go my way. The new radiator was installed, all the hoses were connected, and the system had finally held pressure. It's always a good feeling when you get to this stage, because up until now, you've been hoping everything is sealed correctly.
The pressure test is the first real indication that our cooling system has no leaks.
So, tomorrow I'm going to fill up the radiator, vacuum fill it. For now I'm just going to put this oil cooler on, just so I can move this car off the road. As you can see, the 2 screws are on there now, nice and solid. Well, as solid as it's going to be right now. Obviously connected the pipes up, so now I'm going to start it. Hopefully there ain't no leaks.
So after all that, I wanted to start the car and see if all that hard work had paid off. The cooling system had held pressure, everything was bolted back together, and I was ready for that moment of truth. I jumped in, pressed the start button, and you guessed it, nothing. The battery was completely dead after spending 2 days fighting hoses, removing the radiator pack. In the hottest day of the year, the car had decided it wasn't even going to give me the satisfaction of starting. I couldn't help but laugh.
Well, as you know, I said I needed a new battery because the voltage was low. Not sure whether disconnecting sensors and things like that has caused it to drain the battery. Who knows? But it's got a brand new battery coming, so we'll have to just jump start it now. Double check that no leaks. Now obviously I did mean oil leaks. I didn't mean the coolant. Let me get this on the drive quickly so the coolant don't overheat the engine, or non-coolant don't overheat the engine. Okay. So as I said, tomorrow I will vacuum seal the system, and then I need to fit the air, what's it called? Is it air compressor? Air coolant? No, it's not air coolant. It would be the air compressor. I need to get that sorted out, and then put the front end on, and then I'll re-diagnose it again, reset all the things, make sure nothing pops up. I will be doing some live data as well, just to make sure everything's running smooth. And then I will do the oil service, well, a full service, and obviously I've got the spark plugs and battery to fit as well. So tomorrow, hopefully it ain't that hot, but I've got a feeling it's going to be hotter. So yeah, I should have got a gazebo for this job, but you live and learn. After today, I thought I'd treat myself.
I never thought could another seized up log. Got tools on the bench and a job on the go. Half of it's planned, half of it I don't know. BMW steaming on the side of the road. Coolant on the floor and I'm stripping the nose. One bolt out, 20 more to find. Learning as I go, but I don't really mind.